Welcome back to a brand new season of Tea Time. I'm Karen.
And I'm Ian.
And I'm Kristen.
As we continue to propel the Bahamas to the 21st century, we are the real problem-solving show where we focus more on the problem-solving than actual problems.
Yes, so sit back, relax, grab your tea,
and enjoy.
It's tea time.
Chef Tea Sweets and Treats. Satisfy your sweet cravings with our delicious cookies, cheesecakes, cupcakes, birthday cakes, brownies, pumpkin and guava rolls. We even have donuts and so much more. Give us a call at 535-8306. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Free delivery available.
This episode of Tea Time is brought to you by Caribbean Fever. Phone 429-9546. Be consistent, be motivated, shape your perfect body with Shanae.
Welcome back to Tea Time. We would like to introduce our new addition to the Tea Time family. Kristen, it's awesome to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. This episode, we're going to be discussing food security because we feel as though it's needed because of what we've been through and would we continue to go through. Ian, what do you think about that?
It's funny that you say something like that, Karen. I'm looking at the overall situations that we're going on the global stage,
yes,
not just locally, because a lot of things that happen on the outskirts of the Bahamas, it affects the Bahamas because right now we have a food security problem because we don't grow that much food. Our imports are like 98%, and this is something that most governments have been addressing, and it seems like governments after governments, they're seeing the problem, they're seeing the imports, and now they have to figure out how and when do we take action for a new day?
Right. So how do you think we can change what's happening now? Who do you think is responsible for it, or what can we do to change the situation that we're in now?
Well, my belief is that it happens by small steps.
Okay.
It comes from a perspective that one has to know where we at, what are we lacking, and how do we get there.
Okay.
But most things can't move, Kay, without finances. We're sure of that. So a lot of times we find with the farmers and persons that may be interested in manufacturing, etc., they run into so many roadblocks and red tapes, and it's discouraging them from doing it. And, you know, we've seen it happen. But we've now seen a global stop in terms of the truck drivers not being able to move the containers as fast. The containers are blocked up. And now that is causing an increase in food globally, not just locally, but it's globally.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So when I look at the Bahamas, and you're saying to me that 98% we're importing. I'm looking at it at the perspective that the grower is the lender.
Wow. Yeah.
The buyer is the borrower.
True.
So if you're indebted to the lender, you're at the mercy of the lender. So we have to think about now.
We have to change that.
When will we change it?
Yes. So Kristen, give me a take on that. What do you think?
Now this is a tricky topic for me because I know with the food stability, sustainability,
Yes.
we have to be able to produce our own food. That's one of the
Definitely.
things. And I've recently researched, the University of Delaware actually spoke about why the Bahamas can't produce. And they're stating it's because the pH balance inside of our soil. And our farmers are technically losing products because of wastage and poor farming techniques.
Yeah.
So that's something interesting to me because all I'm hearing is we need to grow our own food. But how is that so? How can we do
But
it?
Kristen, I really don't believe that, because growing up, we used to go on the island, right? Moaz Island in particular. And they had acres and acres of oranges, right? The sweetest oranges you have ever tasted in your life were in that the field. So what happened to it? I don't know. I don't know if people really don't have the time to do it or they're not interested. But it was like a lot. It was acres and acres of oranges. I think they used to call it the sink it. I think that's the name, but it was a lot. So how could they say that the pH in our soil or whatever is affecting it? I don't believe that. I honestly don't, because I grow in my yard in the Bahamas grapes,
I've seen it, by the way. I've seen it.
blueberries,
Wow.
peaches, you name it, I have it. So if it was that bad, why is it growing in my yard?
Do you think it's enough to sustain the economy?
I can interject
Okay,
in
yes.
that. I know post 73, we had the Hatchet Bay plantation that was responsible for the milk, the cheese. We had the pineapple going around here. I think, like touched on Abaco.
Yes.
Abaco was a major exporter for the citrus in terms of the oranges and the grapefruit, etc. Simple as the ruby red grapefruit is found in Andros. Andros
Yes.
is an exporter of the ruby red. They are shipped to America, then they are waxed and processed, and they are stamped, labeled American ruby red.
Okay. So I'm not really looking at exporting right now, but how we can sustain ourselves. Like, we could do more farming. I think we should do more farming, but also the farmers, they need a way of, say, for example, how are we going to encourage the farmers to farm? We have to have avenues in which they can sell these also, like to supply the country too. Like, how do we encourage them to do that? Or what is the problem? Why can't we grow our own stuff? And why are people not buying,
There's
or
a-
the food stores are not selling locally grown fruits and vegetables?
Oh, we know the answer for that.
Well, there's a few ways. There's a few things that we can look at. There's a few things we should look at. Let's look at the examples. I like to look at the examples to see sometimes necessarily what works for one country may not work for another.
That is true.
But it can work also.
It can.
So let's take Mexico for an illustration. In Mexico, they have now made the avocado that we normally eat with grits and tuna, corned beef and grits. We eat that by itself. And they have turned that into $1 billion industry. So the idea is what you're growing and growing it at that level to send it to the world.
We have so much to talk about. Don't you touch that dial. We'll be right back.
The best kept secret in New Providence, Avery's Restaurant, Bar, and Lounge, located Adelaide Village. Need a place to have your birthday party, celebrate your anniversary, work events, or just simply hanging out with family and friends? Delicious food and great entertainment with our local artists performing a variety of genres.
I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned eyes I used to hold.
Every other time that you
to check us out at Avery's, number 49 Adelaide Village. Telephone 677-5016 or 816-5017. See you soon.
Welcome back to Tea Time. And before the break, we were talking about food security. During that discussion, we brought up the fact that there are more imported products in our local food stores more than our local produce. And Kristen said that she has an idea why. Let's hear what she has to say.
They're too expensive. Buying home, I'm sorry, it's too expensive. For a person that's making $220, oh, that's even too much. $210 minimum wage. When I look at a can of tomato paste made here, it's $2.90. I can get probably the ones imported from Jamaica, I'm sorry, for $1.99 or 99 cents. Let's see now, I'm stretching my money which one I'm going to choose. This could be other can of tuna as opposed to just one can of tomato paste. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's why.
Yes. I can understand that a bit.
Okay,
Now, why is that? That's the question.
That may be so to a point. How can we do fair trade or fairness of judgment when we don't look at all of the variables? What are the variables that are before us? Those countries' governments believe in backing those persons in manufacturing, sourcing raw material, and their light bill isn't as expensive as home here in the Bahamas. We know that sometimes our light bill can be considered just as much as your mortgage.
Of course.
You've seen that.
More.
I know you've seen that. So when we look at Bahamian versus non-Bahamian products, something comes to mind to me. It's called Bahamianization.
Wow.
It's called Bahamian pride. You see, we have to be able to look at things as in us versus them. Because if we don't look at it like that, every other nation does it. I can't go into Jamaica stores. Once I go into those food stores, they probably 90%, 98%.
Like you said before, yes,
Jamaican driven,
yes,
manufactured. You can do the same thing to Haiti or any other country around the world. You're here in the Bahamas, and if we walk through the local stores, we can barely see something that is native and is highlighted in the stores.
Yes. So we need to correct that. How do we correct that? Is it too late? I'm sure it isn't. Eh?
Definitely isn't too late.
not
It isn't too late for anything.
Correct.
The thing is that we have some persons that own the stores, and I have to commend some of them because they've been advocating for years that they'll support local Bahamians.
Okay.
Like the Super Values, the Extra Values, the Kenneth Food Stores, etc. Those persons have let Bahamian products get into their stores. But now what we're saying is that we're in the stores, but now we need to have a space in the stores in
Yes.
terms of this is Bahamian, marked Bahamian. And I rather put it that way. And then you're saying that you're a Bahamian. Let it be that when you walk through the stores, that hits your conscience and say, you know what?
Yeah,
Let us start
support.
supporting our thing. It's the same thing with foreign music. Persons around the world come into our country, they love the Bahamian music.
But do
They
we?
love the Gino D. I can't stop playing Stagger Lee.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
here locally, these artists can't even get a job back in the hotels like we used to back in the days.
True.
So we have to look at it that we need to make a stand and some changes, and it has to happen now.
Yeah.
Our kids are going off to school, and they're looking for their identity in a sense. Who is a Bahamian? What is a Bahamian? When I see my product and I see my people, I'm very proud.
Me too.
That we should supposed to be.
Honestly, yeah.
So we're looking at the food stores comparison and pricing. That's like saying for 25 cents I would pass my Bahamian store to go to another store that is non-Bahamian.
Right. So who do we blame though? Because I remember at one point when we had discussion, Kristen was saying that she was not brought up knowing a lot of our culture. So do you think that should be added to the curriculum in schools and stuff like that? Like for students to appreciate the music.
It has to
start from
Karen,
small.
it has to start from the small steps, and it starts from the foundation. The foundation is simple. Is very simple. When we were young and we were growing up, mommy, what we could know as mommy and daddy, they taught us the things, the basic things that we need to survive.
Right.
They knew about hard work. They knew about respect. They knew about persons just doing what it is that they do every day. And they may not have made that much money, but they made it work.
They did. So Kristen, tell me a little bit about, okay, now as an adult, how do you see Bahamian music? Things Bahamian. Can you identify with anything like that? Have you even been on a family island?
Now, to be honest with you, this year was the first time I've actually saw somebody play the steel band. The drum.
Yeah.
And I was mesmerized because she was playing like one of the latest songs on it. I was like, oh my goodness, like what? And she's like, you've never seen it. She was just doing all this. And I'm like, wow. And I was fascinated by it. And I'm like, no, I didn't grow up with it. And then she's like, and then my husband's like, they used to do the saw and make music. And I was like, I just thought that was like a prop thing that you'd see on TV growing up, because I didn't grow up with that. I didn't grow up knowing that side of the culture.
Right.
Junkanoo music is something that I'm just growing into it because it was something loud and noisy to us, because it was actually the devil's music, so to speak, to us. And so we didn't partake in it. So it was like, wow. And then I was probably like 30 when I first saw my actual live Junkanoo performance. It was a junior Junkanoo.
That's a disgrace.
It was a junior Junkanoo performance. And I was
Man, I tell you.
what is it? It felt different because my chest was going kind of, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, that's the beats. That's your soul.
Going in your
That's
soul.
what-
It's the rhythm.
Right. And I was like, oh, okay. It's a little different.
So we do have a problem here. We do have a problem here,
Culture.
and it has to start from
Culture.
babies.
Yeah,
from the
because my
babies.
kids, they don't have the appreciation for Junkanoo either. I'm sorry.
because they're not really exposed to it at
No,
any time.
they weren't exposed.
Just-
I wasn't exposed.
Just simply look at the historical things that we have here. Look at the forts. How many of our students go to see the forts?
True.
We have Clifton Pier. We have monuments that are bedded underneath the water for small scuba diving and stuff like that. Tourists knows about it, but do Bahamians know about it?
I'm telling you, boy, it's so much we have to do with so much knowledge,
Yes.
and we don't know anything about it. But Tea Time is going to teach a lot of people about what we have and what we need to appreciate. We'll be right back.
Marilyn's Gift Shop. Handmade crafted jewelry made from recycled beer and wine bottles. Items can be purchased from Maryland Gift Shop at Exuma International Airport and our downtown Georgetown location. Telephone 357-0321. Find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to Tea Time. And before the break, we were discussing food security. Kristen?
There's actually 4 steps for food security a country could do.
Okay.
1 is availability, accessibility, utilization, and sustainability.
Per acre or per head, what you could have grown then, these people can multiply that now.
True.
Just by the technology, the new technologies.
Without using chemicals.
Without using chemicals.
Yeah,
organic,
yeah.
organic.
Organic.
Yeah. Always
So-
best. Always best.
I'm looking
Not to your
at
pocket.
not
but-
to your pocket, not to your pocket. And you know why I prefer fruits that are locally grown, preferably from those that are imported. First of all, I don't know what all kind of things are put in those,
Yeah.
sprayed over those things. I don't know where they came from. I don't know how long they were in there. I don't know any of these things, but I do know that on some of these things they have export only. So if a country is branding export only on a brand of product,
Red flag.
that's a red flag for me. So what I put into my body,
Yeah, you got to be careful.
You
what you're
guys got to
consuming.
work on me some more with that because my pocket talks first and my health looks later.
Whatever. I'll show you how to grow some fruits in your yard. Start by that.
Listen, that's fruits is fine, but listen to me. When it comes to me having to buy some chicken, now you might get me when the chicken is big as a turkey. You might get me to say, "Hey,
That's
what's
a little bit too
happening?"
big. That's
You
a
can
little
grow
bit
your
big.
chicken. You can grow your chicken.
Really?
Oh, definitely.
Me grow chicken?
But it's simple.
Never.
You can grow. There are two types of the chicken that we normally consume around here. You have the broilers and you have the layers. The broiler chicken is what we use, like the KFC chickens, and the layers are the ones that grow the eggs. It takes you nothing to literally, if you have the space, you can have about 2 to 3 little chickens in the bag.
And
there.
who's
You
going
wouldn't
to kill
even
him when
know.
I grow a connection? Who's going to kill
Well,
them?
that'll be like the animal farm.
Exactly. Then I have all kinds of chickens running around the place.
But
No.
I think that there has to be a registry in terms of who's farming, what you're farming, and is it sustainable
Yeah.
to farm what you're farming? Because it makes no sense that you have 2 acres of land, he's growing this, he's growing that. Everybody's just growing something so different.
Right.
We have to get to the point where we log it in and we said, what does the country need? What could be a sustainable fruit that we can grow? I looked the other day in Michigan. They had 3 sugar apples. I think the cost of it was like $48.
Ridiculous. Sugar apples in
Sugar
my
apple.
yard.
What-
Chicken.
You've given me some of those.
Sugar apple is in my yard.
So if we get a registry and we've now said to them, grow this particular fruit. So we have 40 acres growing one particular fruit, then we just have a new product that we can export around the world.
Okay, my name is Dario Williams. I'm the proprietor of Joey's Seafood Restaurant and Lounge located on Arawaki. We're on the western side. I'm here today to introduce you guys to some of our specialty items. We have a loaded seafood potato that has conch, lobster, shrimp inside. It's battered with vegetables and cheese topping. We also known for some of our conch fritters. We have a chunk of conch in every bite. One of the things that we're also known for are authentic Bahamian grouper, locally called Nassau grouper, barracuda. We have some of the best-selling barracuda on the island and grouper. So come on down, give us a try. We're down here, like I said, at Arawaki on the western end. It's a 2-story yellow and white building structure. Feel free to come on in. Our doors are always open. We are open from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. Joey's was started in 2017. We've been open and operating now for 4 years. We have watched business grow each year. The menu has grown each year. Staff has grown. I'm a hotelier. I came out of school, went straight into the hotel. I had a passion for food and beverage, but I was it was too much boss for me, to be honest with you. And I decided to leave and open up a restaurant of my own. So said, so done. I did open up a restaurant. Where we got the name Joey's from was from my mom. Her name is Joanna. You're definitely making an impact out here on Arawaki. I invite you to come on down. Our friendly staff awaits you. Good service, excellent food. I guarantee you guys won't regret it. Whatever you feel for today, we have a list of fettuccine, whatever fettuccine you're feeling for, seafood, rack of lamb, like I said, Dover sole, salmon, ribs, curry, whatever's your appetite today, come on down. The doors are open, like I said. We have a phone contact, 677-5201, or you could WhatsApp us, your order, 429-2999, and that's daily. Lastly, but not least, these are famous frozen drinks. This here is called the Joey's Blue Hole. This drink right here is topped with all candies. Trust me, this is something you don't want to miss out on. This drink is so refreshing, you can't just have one. Come on down to Joey's Arawaki, ask for candy. This is the drink specialist for the day.
Welcome to Joey's. This is our famous Blue Hole, and we have another 6 frozen varieties for you to try, all that help you look great on your happy hour.
This episode of Tea Time brought to you by Mommy Jamet. Mommy knows best.
Welcome back to Tea Time. This episode is about food security and feeding the nation.
At some point, we as a nation, we grew everything that we needed in our backyards.
Yes.
And it's important for us to remember it. Yes, of course.
Wow.
On the island, like me growing up on the island with my grandmother and those, literally on the island, we had everything that we needed in our backyard. You had the pig in the pen, the goat tie where the jumbe was, and he's eat down in the grass. You got to watch him because he'll eat it down to the floor.
Wow.
We had the chickens running around loose. You can eat that too. With the fisherman gone out, and he
Throw
went
the
out.
line.
The fisherman gone out, and they had so much fish. Let me tell you how much fish they had. It was to a point that we started to send up fish to the mainland, which we call Nassau, and persons would send you back ribs, and you send them fish. They had too much fish,
Yeah,
then they got
exchange.
tired of eating the fish.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it shows you that it wasn't the point that they didn't have food. They had food. They sustained themselves. This is what happened on those islands. If we
Yes.
going back to the roots, and then, as simple as the corn, Grammy them used to grind the guinea corn inside there, and that was the best corn you could ever have.
Your food right in your backyard.
Man, listen to me. Don't go there. Because I can still smell the food cooking now.
Exactly.
See, that is where we have to go. We have to remember that little steps by little steps is how we grow the country.
Well, I just want to say, I think now, I'm pro pocket. I'm all about my pocket. But I do buy the native corn because they're like 65 cents per corn.
Yeah.
It fills you up?
It does because if I'm looking at the Green Giant, they're like $5, $6 now, and I'm like, what? So I go Bahamian for corn.
Okay.
So I'm proud to say I'm Bahamian for corn.
Wonderful.
So I'm
Yes.
supporting our farmers with that aspect.
Listen to me, Kristen. Trust me when I tell you this, Kristen. There are some fruits that can have a lot of other things that come from it, byproducts from it. Like, simple as the pepper. You can use it as a pepper jam. You can use it as a pepper sauce.
Pepper jam.
Pepper jam.
I've never heard of that.
You've never
And
tried
I'm
the
scared
pepper?
of
No.
peppers, so I
Never
don't
tried
think
it?
I'm going to try that.
No, what is
Or
pepper jam?
It's like a sweet, but yet
No, child, I don't like pepper.
spicy. It
No,
isn't
me
that
neither.
crazy spicy, but it's a little spice on it, and it's good. It's like a marmalade. You can use it to batter on your chicken.
Well, it sounds good because the sweet and the pepper would mix with
Oh yes, it gives you a good
Yeah.
flavor and good blend. But I'm just showing you this that it's so many things that can be used from a particular
From one,
product,
yes.
from one product. So if the farmers themselves get together, the government has a registry, and they know what fruit is sustainable and what can be grown at that particular level. If we have 10 acres of land divided between 5 farmers, then they will grow that particular thing. So if we coming to market, rather than having 2 acres of peppers, we have 10 acres of pepper.
Yeah.
So if we have that in the registry, we can almost give an account to say to them that going into the food stores, with the packing house that we're going to design to put there and show them how to preserve it, that this is coming, this is what is on the manifesto, this is what to buy. Because you have to buy locally before you buy external.
You should.
So 30%, the agreement was supposed to be 30%, Bahamian bought. But we're not seeing that.
No.
So in order for us to get where we need to be, we need to start making some changes, and we need to do it really fast.
Yep, right away.
Well, you got a long way to go with me.
But I know you're watching your pocket, and most people do watch their pockets. So, but I'm still thinking the fact that
But
when I compare it, Karen, I'm looking at my brand compared to their brand.
yeah,
But if my brand tastes just as good as their brand, and if it's 50 cents more, I'm gonna buy my brand because any other country does it.
one thing to remember though, Kristen, you may be watching your pocket now, but if you don't eat organic food, what is gonna happen later?
Well, let's cross that bridge.
So
when we
let's
get there.
sacrifice a little extra to be healthy, to stay healthy,
Yes.
and then our pockets will be even better. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching another episode of Tea Time.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Ian.
And I'm Karen. Stay tuned for a new episode on ILTV.
You don't want to miss it.
It's tea
tea time.
time.